First-time customers at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com receive $25 in wager bucks after your first initial purchase. All you have to do is sign up, make your purchase, and you'll get $25 in credit.
Teddy Covers, Lawrence Presman. You're watching Wager Talk Today. And there will be no flexing on this show by me. So for all you guys who put your bets down, you lost. Teddy's already annoyed. It's going to be a great show. Teddy Covers. Las Vegas Cris joining us, a friend of ours, a really good dude, and a handicapper extraordinaire. We're going to get into that. He's going to look at the Tampa Bay, Minnesota NFL game, the Indianapolis Colts versus Raiders game. And we're going to talk a little bit of MMA with Holland and Souza. After that, Arthur DiCesare. We're going to find out where the money is going. And Ralph Michaels at the end of the show for his regular segment. But the lead story today, Teddy, Super Bowl futures. Well, we have three clear favorites. One serious favorite in Kansas City, 2-1. And then we have Pittsburgh and New Orleans as the next up. I'm going to throw you two live dogs that I think have a chance to win it all. And then I'd like to hear your opinion. I like the Bills at 14-1. I was actually talking to Tony Finn literally 20 minutes ago, and I was saying I think the Bills could beat Kansas City. Josh Allen's so well-rounded a quarterback. This team is in great form. And you know I'm really high on the Rams. 12-1 for them, Teddy. Although I would likely hedge out of that Rams bet if they do hit the Super Bowl and Kansas City. What do you like?
All right, so there's a lot to talk about when it comes with the NFL futures market. Let me start with this. All right, if I have to pick today, I'm going to pick the Chiefs against the Saints. And the Chiefs are 2-1 and the Saints are 6-1. I don't think there's a lick of value on either team at the current number.
Yeah.
So even though if I'm making a Super Bowl prediction today, Chiefs versus Saints, that's not where my money would go when it comes to the future market. I, too, am looking for live long shots. Now, you talked about the Rams. The Rams, to me, are not a team I'm interested in at 12-1. And it's very simple. You have a quarterback that can't move the football against good defense. Then every time they face a good defense, they lose. You know, Josh Allen doesn't have that. But you look at Goff versus Allen. Goff faces a good defense. Rams offense doesn't work. Allen faces a good defense. Bills offense still works. So the Bills at 14-1, in my mind, liver of your two longer shots than the Rams. But I look deeper down the board. I mean, again, in the AFC, I really don't see anyone beating Kansas City. I don't. But when you look at a team like Tennessee at 30-1, Tennessee with multiple playoff wins last year, and they gave KC a scare in the postseason last year before falling apart. Cleveland, and again, when you're talking about the price range, 20-1 and 30-1 for those two teams, I think the pieces are in place for a potential Super Bowl run. So I would look to the long shots in the AFC at the Browns and the Titans. In the NFC, boy, there's so many choices. You know, there's not an easy like, oh, yeah, I'm taking this team, I'm taking that team, I'm taking the other team. You know, live long shots in the NFC, maybe you look way down. How about the Giants? 80-1?
Okay.
You know,
okay.
There's dumber bets to make than the Giants at 80-1. I'll tell you that right now.
I wouldn't loan you money at 2-1 payback if you were going to use it to bet on the Giants to win the Super Bowl. But I love the Tennessee and Cleveland concept, especially because both teams can hold on to the ball. And ultimately, that's what it's going to take to beat Kansas City. I mean, Derrick Henry, the raccoon, as I call him, and also Chubb, the style of play from both those teams, they could put down 9-10-minute drives. You do that a couple of times in a game, you're going to control the game. I mean, look, it's a Bill Parcells trick going back a long time ago when he faced that Buffalo team. Teddy, my friend, let's get to the rest of the show. Las Vegas Cris, first time on. We could not be more excited to have you. I'm going to talk about how great you are in a second, but let's start with how you are. What's going on?
I'm pulling my hair out. First of all, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. I actually listen to it every day in the background or watching it while I'm working at the computer. But it's very, very, very busy. I'm sleeping 3-4 hours a night. It's all day, every day for me.
Yeah, so nothing we like more than when a guest shows up and starts complaining about his life already. That's outstanding. As far as pulling your hair out goes, on behalf of two other old men with exceptional hair, you've got a lot to pull out, so don't worry about that. Guys, listen to this. Las Vegas, Cris. Here's some streaks. In NFL, 6-1, your last 7, 11-2, your last 13, and a godlike 17-4. 6-2 college basketball run, 5-1 college football run, number 1 handicapper in MMA since day 1 on the site, including Gianni, including Kyle. What else, Cris? I mean, you sent some numbers in that were just insane. Why don't you tell us how good you are also?
Well, I think what's really important is actually not focusing on short-term streaks. I think everybody's going to be able to distort short-term streaks. There's a video on my profile where I talk about streaks. But actually, what I find most impressive is none of that. Is long-term streaks. Over the last 300 plus games, I just went up to 61%. So I'm very, very proud of that. I worked very hard at it, and it's not easy to do. And I welcome anybody to find anybody else with those kinds of numbers. Very hard to find. Everybody's going to win. Everybody's going to lose and have streaks that are great for a while. But what is somebody doing 3, 4, 5 years down the road is what's important to me.
Guys, Las Vegas, Cris, make sure to play this guy. I mean, I'm telling you, Cris, we're going to talk football. But guys, the way we found Cris, I mean, Cris is a big time bettor. Literally, the reason he doesn't sleep is he's on the floor of the sports book all day long. Make sure you could say hi to him. He's at 3 sports books at the same time. That's how talented Las Vegas Cris is. Cris, we got a promo for you. I'll give it out in a second. Let's get to the first game. Tampa Bay, Minnesota. I know you like the over. It's on my short list. I'm assuming I'm going to release that play to my clients as well. Regale us with your thoughts.
Here's a real oddity. I just noticed that I'm up to, I think, 500 releases over the last years. And I've only released 26 totals. So I don't do a lot of totals. And when I do them, they're usually pretty good. They're 73%. But more importantly, I like Tampa Bay, Minnesota over. I haven't quite bet it yet because I'm hoping that we get the 51 on that. Yeah. Minnesota, as we know, has a really poor defense. They're number 27 by my ratings. Tampa Bay, had a much better defense earlier in the season, and it's kind of slipped up a little bit. But we can all agree they both have great offenses. They can move the ball. If you look at Minnesota, they have 2 games in the entire season where they've scored less. There's been less than 51 points scored, and those were against Indianapolis and the Bears. So every other game, Minnesota's 51 or more. Tampa Bay, 51, 51, 69, 41 against the number 1 Saints defense, 58, 65. We're getting a lot of points from these 2 teams. There's a wild card race. One of the tiebreakers that affected this week's standings is points scored, point differential. That's why Arizona's not in this week. So Minnesota's got to score. I'm not 100% sure what Tampa Bay is, but they both need to score. The weather's going to be 73. There's going to be no wind. It's supposed to be partly cloudy, keeps the sun out of the eyes. So everything's looking over.
So the Bucks went into their bye week coming off a series of less than stellar performances. Let's just put it that way. Do you think Tampa comes out, and certainly defensively, at the first half of the season, when we're talking about the Bucks as a quote unquote Super Bowl caliber defense? We've seen some cracks in that of late. How good do you think Tampa's defense is overall? And do you think that this particular matchup is bad for them? Or do you think the defense as a whole is a fairly mediocre unit?
I think Tampa Bay's defense is better than we've seen recently. The only thing I worry about with this game is they've had the bye and they definitely need to try new things. And we don't know what those new things are, but they have to change something because like you said, Teddy, there's cracks everywhere. So we're going to see something new from them. And hopefully that leads to more points also. I see no value at all on the side. My numbers come on exactly on the numbers. So anything new, anything unexpected, usually means something good for scoring. So that's what I am hoping happens.
Las Vegas Cris, everybody. Guys, listen, if you're going to buy one package to cover you for the next month, I'm telling you, Chris's package is the way to go. $189 for 30 days. $189 for 30 days, regular $349. That's a massive savings. You cannot use WagerBucks because it's such a deep discount. So no WagerBucks can be used. $189 for 30 days. And I'm telling you, I bet Chris's plays. Tony bets Chris's plays. Chris bets Chris's plays. So hopefully you guys will join him on that. Chris, let's get to Indianapolis and the Raiders. And, you know, my initial lean was on the Raiders. Just really felt like it was a bad spot for Indy. I've moved away from that. Now I'm really undecided on how to tackle this game. What do you like?
Well, I use a very complex metric model.
Of course you do.
That factors in a hell of a lot of stats. And it's just very good at extricating a lot of hidden stats that are not glamour stats, so to speak. There's a fair amount of teams that you see that have really nice glamour stats. And then when you go into these subcategories and they start to add up, you realize, wait a minute. Unfortunately, I kind of agree with you about the Raiders. I kind of like the bet. Like, for example, England. I hated that. I know all the sharps like New England, and it was supposedly so easy. I thought the Chargers were the easiest play on the board, but I still followed the model. I don't strictly follow it, but it's just a starting interpretation, and I bet the opposite side of what I like, and that's what you have to be able to do. You have to have handicapping where you remove emotion and opinion out of the equation. So, but like you said, the Raiders to me look like a good first look, but the metrics, these two teams are way too far apart. They both currently have some injury issues that concern me, but overall, I think Indy still has enough. I would have liked to have had a lower line on it, but as long as the worst case scenario at a 3 is the point, I can live with it on this game. I think it'll be a very interesting game because Indy's got some injuries, but they're clamming teams up in these second halves on adjustments in most games too. Like Green Bay and a couple of other times. So even if they start off slow, it's okay. Recent losses.
We've seen the Raiders.
Go ahead.
We've seen the Raiders struggle at home several times already. They lost to Buffalo at home. They lost to Tampa at home. They lost to Kansas City at home, although they did cover the number in that defeat. And then last week, I understand that they got a W on the scoreboard against the Jets, but if you watch the game, they had 9 shots from inside the goal line at the end, and they missed them all before the Jets gave them the win at the end. When you worry about a team that doesn't have much home field edge and feels like maybe they should have lost to the Jets last week, do you think that's part of the handicap? Or is this just Indy's better than Las Vegas, plain and simple, whatever metrics you look at?
I think the most important tool that I go by is put yourself in a position of advantage. And you can't, the very best people are going to lose 43% of their games. And so you just have to have the data and be in your corner. Situational handicapping is not as important to me. I could care less about 99.9% of trends. And these guys are pros.
Right.
A lot of people want to, make big deals about sandwich games or flat spots or looking ahead. These guys are pros.
I'm so with you, Chris. I'm so with you on that whole concept. I mean, Marco, who is an exceptional bettor, he loves the situational plays. But I feel the same way as you. I mean, and I talked about it on the NFL presidential address. It always amazes me. It's a look ahead spot. Why is it a look ahead spot? It's like the look ahead is 14 freaking days later. Anyway, let's get onto some MMA. And Chris, we got to move quick on this as we're running out of time. I just want to give you another shout out again, guys. Chris is just killing it in everything right now. Head over to his page at WagerTalk.com. Buy a full month at $189. Chris, make sure to tweet that out as well. Look, I love the MMA. I'm a big-time fighting fan. I'm actually watching the show Kingdom on Netflix, which is incredible. Holland, shut up, Teddy. Holland over Souza. I love Holland here, Chris. Minus 130-ish. It's going to be a fun fight. These two are brawlers. They're gonna throw. I think this will be tons of action, but I'm going to be betting Holland myself. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Oh, I think you're going to be pretty happy. There's been a lot of unusual line movement. It opened at, I think, 140, 150. It went up to 185, and I just bet it at 107. So I think the concern in the marketplace is that Holland is facing his 5th fighter of the year. He's had 4 in 4 months, and people are worried about how tired he is. The guy's only 28 years old, and his last fight was 1 minute and 28 seconds. I don't know how important that is. He's facing a guy that was used to, be really good, but he's 41 years old. He's lost his last 2 fights, and he's dropping 20 pounds to get back to his original fighting weight. That's a big change. Some of the criticism about Holland is not only the number of fights, but does he fight well on the ground? What happens? Yeah. Because Souza's fight strategy would probably be to try to take him down because he's a strong guy. But
Chris,
Holland, when he 2 years ago when he was very inexperienced, was facing a guy named Santos down in Brazil, and at the time Santos was very good, and Holland did well. He stood up, and he didn't even have the experience back then, and he's had 2 more years to tone his skills. So
his ground game has definitely gotten better, Chris. That's for sure, and I think it's going to be important in this fight as well, with Souza being a guy who's going to try to take him down a lot. We got to move on, brother. You were awesome. I love the fact that you look so comfortable sitting in what might be an inflatable chair. I don't know for sure, but it looks like it's inflatable. Look, every man needs something inflatable in their house. And on that note, we love you. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back, everybody, with Teddy's Bad Beats, Arthur DiCesare, Ralph Michaels, and a big game breakdown by the Munchman sitting in the middle.
Las Vegas has a padded resume with all of his accomplishments in Vegas. In fact, there are just too many for me to list in a 30-second commercial. Right now, you can lock in Las Vegas Cris for the next 30 days for only $189. That comes out to just $6.36 per day, and that includes all sports, any 5% best bets. Of course, this is a limited time offer, so do not miss your chance to bet alongside a professional Las Vegas sports bettor for only $189.
It is time for Bad Beats, Bad Bets, and Bad for the Books. So a recap of what happened in the betting world last night here in Las Vegas. Look, it was Cowboys and the Ravens. There was game day money for the over. There was plenty of public money and a fair bit of wise guy money on Baltimore as the side. Game closed 8.5, 9. Total closed 45.5, 46. Good result for the bettors when it came to both side and total in that Dallas-Baltimore game. Game got over the total. And incredibly, all right, over bettors were sweating a game where there were grand total of 2 punts. One on the very first drive of the game, one on the very first drive of the second half. Neither team punted after those initial punts, one in the first half, one in the second half, and yet over bettors had to sweat right till almost the 2-minute warning. Nonetheless, it got there. That was not a great result for the house. Little college hoops last night. Let's see. Bad beat. Oh, Purdue, they were -1.5. They got bet up to -3. They led by 18 at halftime. They lost in regulation. No cover at Miami. Big turnaround at halftime for the Hurricanes against the Boilermakers. How about Kansas choking away the cover, -3.5 against Creighton? What do you want with your favorite in the final minute? Well, you need him to not turn the ball over, and you need him not to miss the front end of 1-and-1s, and then you need him not to do the intentional foul with 2 seconds left to allow the opponent to hit a couple of free throws. Creighton gets the money, even though Kansas gets the win. Let's see, a couple of bad bets worth talking about. They bet Colorado, Tennessee over last night, up to 139.5. They barely got to 100 in that game, 56-47. The over, dead wrong. And of course, I don't call it a bad bet. I don't know if you want to call it a bad beat, whatever you want to call it. The Buckeyes at Notre Dame, -5 at the open, -6, 6.5 at the close. They hit their free throws in the final seconds to win by only 5. Bettors were able to push with Ohio State at that number. Most bettors ended up losing. The Irish got the money. And one last bet. I don't even know if this is bad for the books for sure. Apparently, Duke sucks now. And word is out. Word was out when Michigan State went down to Cameron. Word was out when Illinois went down to Cameron. The Blue Devils come up short on their home floor once again. The Illini took the money. The Illini got the money. That's not a great result for the books. There you have it, Prez. Back to you. Bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books for a Wednesday. We'll do it again tomorrow.
Teddy, I absolutely love that segment. I can't wait till we can cut it and put it up as a standalone. You do such a great job on it. Shout out to all you guys in the chat room. Thanks for being here. Kyle, Detroit, Elliot, Jabril, RV, Gordon, David Sharp, O+, Big Daddy, Scott, Kraken, Adam Squires, Stephen Hennel, and on and on and on. One of the guys in the room asked Teddy, Prez, I never see your hands typing. How do you chat in the room and handle the show at the same time? The answer is I'm really good at multitasking, and it used to be my Tinder profile statement. Really good at multitasking. Can do 2 things at once. Dude, the women eat that up. Anyway, I'm Lawrence Presman. Teddy, we got such a great email yesterday from one of your buddies. Give him a shout out.
Sure. But more than anything else, more than any shout out that I want to give out, I never want to hear you talk about your Tinder profile again for any reason, dude. That's your business. Your business.
Okay.
Not my business.
You helped me write it. Remember, I went to the bank. I got a whole ton of cash. I laid it on the bed. And then I took a picture of me lying on the cash on the bed with a statement. I do 2 things at once. Dude, it lit up. Lit up. I had like 7 dates an hour. Anyway, Arthur DiCesare joining us. And then you can give your friend a shout out. Arthur, Talk to me. You got a nice smile, beautiful haircut, looking good. What's so funny, brother?
Oh man, your Tinder profile, just thinking about that, it scares me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the appropriate word, is scared. It's not a curious, it's not a interested, it's a I'm scared of that. Yeah. I'm with you.
Exactly.
Hey, when you're in your 50s and you're competing against 35-year-olds on Tinder, there's only one thing that you got to do. Just make sure there's a lot of cash somewhere in the back of your picture. Arthur, how was your past week, man? How did the books do last night, the night before, Sunday, Saturday? Give us a quick rundown.
Yeah, gentlemen, first of all, obviously happy to be here as always. But yeah, no, another solid week for the books. Man, Sunday was great. Giants were awesome for us, breaking up a lot of teasers, a lot of money lines, a lot of parlays. Sunday night game was awesome. Broncos and the under was very positive. Jets was good. Jets was a good result for us. Yesterday, I know Teddy touched on it. The under, we were on the under, but we also needed the Ravens. So it was kind of a wash on that. But yeah, overall, another solid week for the books. We're now at basically 3-4 straight weeks where the books have done pretty well.
So when you get into a situation like this, where it's not 1 week or 2 weeks, but now it's been basically for the last month, the bookmakers have won not every big decision, but most of the big decisions of the NFL. Do people still have money to bet? Do you see handles start to drop a little bit? What are the repercussions from the bookmaker level when the books keep winning week after week in the NFL?
Yeah, Teddy, that's a great question. And I know we've touched on that before, on this show. But listen, the bettors are always going to be there to bet. I start to see people maybe press a little bit more in the fact where maybe they don't straight bet as much. Maybe they'll do some teasers, some parlays. Maybe they're trying to catch back up, get some of that money, get a nice payout. But the bets are always going to be there. It's, listen, we're always going to get the bets. The handle is not really going to take that much of a hit. It is a kind of weird time in Vegas. It's right when you hit Thanksgiving and you go to Christmas, it kind of slows down a little bit anyway. So, we're just kind of in one of those lulls, seasonal. So, but you're always going to get the bettors, and we don't really worry about that too much.
I can't imagine
Arthur
that you
DiCesare,
would.
Everyone, Teddy, you want to keep going?
Yeah, I got plenty more for Arthur right here. I'll fire away, but if you have something, Lawrence,
I'll just
knock yourself
back,
out,
bro. Dude,
you chill.
Back,
just sit there and flex.
The guys with the glasses talk. Let me guess. Shut my trap. Say it. Say it, brah.
No,
brah.
I said
Shut my trap, brah. You texted me a bra last night. Guys, Teddy texted me a bra last night just out of the blue.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you got that right, brah.
Go on.
Arthur, let's talk specifically about yesterday's game and these Monday night double headers and Tuesday NFL games. Normally, we think any single event NFL game is great, but are you seeing an oversaturation with that now? Is the handle down? That 2 p.m. Pacific time Monday game start and a weird Tuesday game? Are you seeing the action that you would expect for NFL, even with these awkward start times?
Yeah, Teddy, for me, it's the NFL. The NFL is always going to get a good handle. Now, listen, I agree. For us on the West Coast, us being in Vegas, a 2 p.m. Monday game is a little awkward, especially when you have the regular Monday night 5:15 game. But you're still going to get a good handle. And honestly, I love that we've gotten these Tuesday and these Wednesday games. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's replaced Maction because we always got good handle on Maction, but it's the NFL. I mean, you can have NFL game at any time, any place. It won't matter. People will still bet the NFL.
I remember betting
Arthur
preseason
DiCesare,
NFL games in Japan that started at 3 a.m. So I'm with you. Nice look, Lawrence.
I got to go out today, Teddy. So I'm trying to get. I usually put this on before I go out so I can get used to it. Do you have any stylish? Do you have any LINQ masks with the LINQ across it or something, Arthur?
Yeah, I could get you one of those.
Yeah.
Do you really have those?
We got Caesar's ones.
That's sweet, dude. I'll wear one of those.
Yeah.
If you're sending them out, I'll take one.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
But I'm basically a shut-in these days. You don't leave the house a whole lot, which is the beauty of the apps in Las Vegas, where you don't have to leave the house to make bets anymore. You can do it on your phone. But let's move to the actionable. Arthur, enough with the recap. Let's talk about what's on tap for tonight and moving forward. And let's start with a little college hoops action for this evening. Is there anything that you're seeing for tonight? And I know last week you talked about Michigan State as being a word was out in Vegas with Michigan State at Duke. Are you seeing anything in terms of sharp action for Wednesday night, for today's college hoop, that stands out?
Teddy, no, nothing that I've seen jump out yet. I will say this, the one game that I've seen move a couple points is Michigan and Toledo. You know, big name, Michigan. People are usually on Michigan. It's funny, I actually like Toledo in the game. So that's one I've seen move a couple points. So it might move a couple points in my favor or anyone in, favor who likes to take a dog getting some points. So that's one I've seen move a little bit.
So I know that college football has been fairly light early in the week. And obviously we've had a number of, high profile cancellations. Should we have high profile cancellations in college hoops tonight with Michigan State and Virginia getting canceled? Michigan, Ohio State, obviously the big game that won't be played this weekend. But is there anything that stands out in terms of early week college football action at the LINQ Race and Sports book here on the Las Vegas Strip?
Absolutely, Teddy. I wrote down 2 games. First game, Oklahoma at West Virginia. We opened Oklahoma -12. It's now Oklahoma -13.5. Hasn't gotten to that key number of 14 or 14.5 yet, but we've seen nothing but Sooner money. And then a game, that's got a West Coast feel and is usually a very good bet game because of, just the tradition of the game is USC UCLA. Opened USC -4. It's now USC -3. USC, they played Sunday. People probably didn't know they played Sunday, so they're on quote unquote a short week. UCLA's 4-1 ATS, so that's always going to be a good handle of a game, and we should see good action on that game.
Arthur, only a few minutes left. What we're going to do, I'm going to throw some NFL games at you one at a time. Just let us know if you're hearing anything. You got anybody you respect betting these games? Let's start with Thursday night. Rams down to 5. 45.5 total. Anything on the Rams game we should know about?
No, you know what, Prez, but that has been an interesting game. Obviously, as you said, Rams -5. We did see Rams -6 for a little bit, but it has gotten back to 5. That's going to be a really good two-way action game. We should probably see money on both sides of that game. Interesting enough, I mean, I don't know how you trust the Patriots in that spot. They've kind of been a zigzag team. They played well last week. They probably won't play well this week. And it's a short week. So I'd be shocked if we didn't get more Ram money. But right now it is two-way action on that game.
Arthur, curious where the link is on the Houston-Chicago game. I mean, this is one that's little all over the board. There's 3 different lines out. Where's the link sitting, and what kind of action are you taking on that one?
Yeah, on that game right now, it's interesting because I think you have to look at those games sometimes as they're not more of a marquee game. Houston and Chicago, who really cares about the game? It's probably 2 teams that aren't going to go anywhere. So right now, nothing that big to report on that game.
Teddy,
let's talk about the Chiefs and the Dolphins, because that's certainly one of the early start games that has people's attention. 2 playoff teams for this week. What are you hanging at the LINQ, and what are you seeing in terms of early week sharp betting action between Miami and Kansas City?
Yeah, Teddy, I think that's one of the most interesting games of the week. We opened that as Kansas City -7.5. It's now sitting Kansas City -7. And that's 2 teams that are contrasting on the ATS. Miami's 9-3 ATS, Kansas City 6-6, has yet to cover their last 4 games. People will be all over Kansas City. The public will definitely be on Kansas City, and they will be in every teaser. So we'll most likely be heavily rooting for Miami.
All right, the Dolphins as that. So, and let me ask you this: at 7, when you said you hung 7.5, and I think that the broader market was at 7.5 at the open in that game. When they open 7.5 and it goes to 7, when you open, is that you're looking for that first bet to be on Miami, and that will help you balance your books later in the week, or is that just the way it worked out?
I think it could be either or, Teddy. I think on that game where you're trying to entice people with that hook. And once again, if people are looking at the numbers and they say, ooh, 9-3, Miami's been pretty good. KC hasn't covered 4 straight. You do want to entice people with that 7.5, because if you put 7, they'd have to buy the hook. They might not want to pay the juice. So I think laying the 7.5 entices people to bet Miami right off.
Yeah, that's what I thought. A lot of times those point spreads with the hook on them at the get-go are designed to take one bet, and then the line is where it is. One more game to ask you about, Arthur DiCesare, of course, the Race and Sports supervisor at the LINQ Sportsbook on the Las Vegas Strip, at ArtDice21 on Twitter. He is an excellent follow and someone whose insights I enjoy reading on a daily basis. Again, at ArtDice21 on Twitter. Let's talk Sunday night football. This game is going to get a lot of betting attention. The Buffalo Bills, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bills off a big Monday night win. Steelers off an ugly-looking Monday night loss. What kind of action are you seeing? What kind of action are you expecting for Sunday night football?
Yeah, Teddy, that great game, by the way. It's going to be an awesome game. I mean, it hurts a little bit that Pittsburgh lost, but Pittsburgh, we've talked about this a million times with all these teams. Pittsburgh's the national team. People bet Pittsburgh. People never bet the Bills. People don't believe in the Bills. So we're going to be rooting for the Bills. I know there's going to be a heavy handle on Pittsburgh. So unless something changes, it wouldn't surprise me if we were, 70% or more on Pittsburgh, because that's just how it goes with the Steelers. Unless you're quote unquote Bills Mafia, you're not taking the Bills.
Arthur DiCesare, everyone, brother, I can't thank you enough. Same with Teddy. It's such a pleasure to have you on every Wednesday, and I know how busy you are. As I said, you look great. Excellent haircut. Other than that, anything to promote?
I appreciate that, Prez. I actually did get a haircut yesterday just for this show.
I know, dude.
But no, absolutely, guys. As I always say, come down to the LINQ. We got one of the best spots to watch the games at, man. We got fan caves. We got everything you want down there. So just come check us out, guys. And like I said, I'm always there to talk to people, answer questions, anything I can do to make anyone's experience better down there.
Awesome stuff. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. Right back with Teddy's big game breakdown. And of course, Ralph Michaels with his pen.
The NBA is back. Preseason starts this Friday, December 11th. The regular season tips off on Tuesday, December 22nd, and our top 2 NBA cappers have an unheard of special. Both Hakeem Prophet and Rob Vino have agreed to this huge discount. Hakeem Prophet exploded onto the NBA scene in his first year here at WagerTalk. Rob Vino was dominating, picking up 168% profit by hitting 60% on 305 plays. Listen to this deal. Our NBA early bird price was $6.99. The NBA season ticket price was $8.99. But for the next 7 days, get Hakeem and Rob for only $4.99 each. No coupon needed. Just go to their homepage, click on which capper you want for the NBA season, or even click on both. Each only $4.99.
It's time for today's big game breakdown. We have a replacement game. I, of course, did all my work early yesterday on the Michigan State-Virginia game that I was about to break down. I found a great quote that I thought might have an impact on how we view the game, and then it got canceled. And it got canceled late, so the replacement game. Oh, ESPN found a replacement game. We got a replacement game, too. Unfortunately, my info is not as actionable on this one as it would have been on the other. Nonetheless, we still do have a lean for Wednesday night college hoops. That being said, my college hoops to open this season has been pretty awful. So take the lean with a grain of salt for what it's worth. Let's talk Florida State and Indiana. The Seminoles minus 3.5 point home favorite, total sitting at 139.5. And when you're searching for info, again, you're looking for 2 things. One, info that's baked into the point spread, but may not have been baked into the point spread enough. A team's got key injuries, rotation issues, chemistry issues, whatever it is. The point spread adjusts, but doesn't adjust enough, in your opinion. And the second thing that we look for with information is stuff that's just not baked into the point spread. Things like, Florida State being really, really interested in this game tonight, which is the case from every quote. Look, Indiana blew out this team last year. It was a ugly loss, 80-64. And, it snapped Florida State's 3-year win streak in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. It was their lone non-conference loss last season. It was the only loss that they had over a span of 18 games. They remember it. Leonard Hamilton talking about how he didn't have any issues getting his team to be focused. Quote, what I do like is the fact that the team, the caliber of Indiana, definitely gets our attention because of the respect we have for their program, respect we have for the coach and the system that they're playing. So Florida State is interested. And it's a Florida State team that was largely undervalued last year, much better offensively than they've been in recent seasons. And defensively, Hamilton's team's always very athletic, difficult to get anything in the paint against them, and they force turnovers in bunches. So I think these are all problems for a shorthanded Indiana. They're without their center. They're without their backup point guard. And yes, Indiana's battle-tested early in a way that Florida State isn't. That's my biggest concern in this ballgame. But the interest level for Florida State, not going to say off the charts, but they're real interested in this one. Of course, it is a Florida State team that won the ACC last year in the regular season, didn't get the ACC tournament, and has been dominant in non-conference games at home in recent seasons. What do they have? 3 losses the last 4 years in this role. Oh, and they're going to be fans in the stands in Tallahassee tonight. 2,700 fans allowed the first time Indiana has played in front of a crowd this season. Hostile crowd might matter here. Lean Florida State minus the 3.5. There you have it. Big game breakdown. ESPN Wednesday night college hoops. Back to you, Prez.
Teddy, that was awesome stuff. Guys, I just want to let you all know we got a promotion that we're doing. I just made it up 2 minutes ago. Nobody knows about it. But here it is. $100 in wager bucks to the first person who can tell us the exact day of the chart behind Teddy. There's enough info there. There is enough info to figure it out.
It's a terrible look, Prez. The date is actually on the chart. So if someone looks at it or in a wide shot, they'll be able to see it, and it's not really a great promo.
Yeah,
the
well,
date
let
is
him
on.
work. Let him work.
Okay.
So $100 in wager bucks for the person who figures out the date on the back of Teddy's chart. You got to tweet it out.
There somewhere.
You got to, oh, shut up, Teddy. You got to
over.
include hashtag WagerTalk Today. Also, Teddy, I got to show you something. This is not a joke. No, this is not a gag. My daughter painted this for me, Teddy. You're going to appreciate this a lot. Okay? Seriously. No joke. No joke.
Let's bring on Ralph Michaels.
Teddy, you don't think that's awesome?
That's awesome.
What
I'm
the
very
hell?
happy for your daughter's artwork.
Yeah, dude, that piece is incredible. Do you know who it is?
That would be Jerry Garcia, your love of your life, the other love of your life.
Oh, you're the love of my life, Teddy. No doubt about that. Ralph Michaels, me and you twice today. Busy day for you. You got bet on it as well. NFL presidential address, 4 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to check that out. And Big Daddy, I appreciate that you enjoyed my painting. I'm excited about it. Ralph, what do you got for us?
Teddy, are you really the love of his life? Because when Gianni comes on, he drools. When when other guys come on, he's his tongue's hanging out. So I think you have to share Prez with everybody else. Angle of the day, guys. Yeah. You don't want them. You don't want them all to yourself, Teddy.
No, my God, no.
All right. Angle of the day. Since 2013. From week 8 on, when a team has a win percentage of 65% or higher and they lost as a home favorite, like Tennessee and Pittsburgh, pretty simple. They've covered 67% of the time. Look at the teaser number, though, guys. I normally don't bring up teaser numbers because, it depends on, if you're playing them in the right thing. But if you just blindly played those teams that had a win percentage of 65% or higher and lost as a favorite, the teaser record is 37-4, 90.2%. So, Teddy, you're going to say it makes sense. It does make sense. Why week 8 and later? Well, because if you're 1-0, 2-0, or 3-0, it could be based on the schedule. When you're a 67% win team, middle of the season, you've done your work, you've earned those wins. So it seems simple. It is simple, and it makes sense.
It makes a ton of sense. I have issues with the two specific teams this week. And not huge issues, but I've got concerns. Tennessee looked tired last week, and Derrick Henry has, again, leading the NFL in rushing yards. And if Henry wears down, Tennessee's done. And the Steelers have played that awkward, weird schedule where they're playing on different days and having games moved and canceled, and that concerns me. But the bottom line is it's a trend that has cashed 67% over a decent sample size, and teaser-wise has cashed 90% over a decent sample size. Certainly something to consider for this weekend, and certainly a game where if you were thinking about the other side, maybe you tap the brakes on it.
Well, a lot of people playing survivor pools were very thankful for the New York Giants. So what are we going to look at for the situational play? NFL teams off a loss as a double-digit favorite. NFL teams off a win as a double-digit dog. And the same holds true as like we saw that lost favorite. Since 1989, I'm going back my entire database, not data mining anything. If you, an NFL double-digit favorite, lost that game, they are 57% the next week. And take a look since 2011, they are actually 71.4%. I did take a look at what happens if they're off a loss as a double-digit away favorite. Did it change anything? It was 62%. And if they're off a loss as a double-digit favorite and a big favorite, 21-18, 53%. So those are nothing numbers, but I ran them so you're familiar. So basically this, NFL teams that were a double-digit favorite that lost, 57% the last 33 years, 71.4% since 2011.
Yeah, I mean, that's meaningful for Seahawks backers, certainly. You know, I mean, Seattle's a team that falls into that category this week, like Tennessee and Pittsburgh fell into that first category. And when you're talking about, again, since 2011, it's not a huge sample size, but you have 29 times this has happened, and the teams have covered 71%. It's certainly worth paying attention to for the Seahawks this weekend, whether you follow the trend or not.
Well, and Teddy, the flip side, hold on, Prez, one last thing, sorry. The flip side of this, what happens when a team wins as a double-digit dog? Well, we know that the team that was favorite was embarrassed and played poorly. So do we expect the Giants to fall back? Take a look at these numbers. They're pretty substantial. Since 1989, teams like the Giants off a double-digit win, 40.9%. If I go back since 2009 and shorten it, 37.8%. But look at the subset. Giants are off a win as a double-digit dog, and now they're a home dog. It's only happened 28 times. Those teams are 7-21, 25% against the spread. So one of those systems that fits perfectly because what you expect to the one team happens, and the opposite happens to the opposite side here with the Giants.
Yeah, although that
Michaels,
one,
everyone, Teddy, we got it. We got my turn. Okay, your turn. Go ahead.
No, I already shut up and I was letting you go.
Well, I want to hear about the Friends of Ralph segment. I love this segment. Is gold, Ralph. Who do you got for us today?
I guess you didn't want to make a comment there, Teddy, on the dog part, which isn't as strong and isn't quite the same thing.
Well,
he didn't because
it was the team specifically. I was talking the Giants in particular. I was looking at a number of NFL power ratings over the last 24 hours, and the markets are pricing the Giants differently than I am right now. I'll just leave it at that. So the fact that they were double-digit dogs last week and they're dogs again this week has something to do with the markets devaluing the entire division when the Giants aren't playing bottom feeder football right now. So that's about
yeah. I have them pretty high as well, Teddy. So I agree with you where I have the Giants higher. Friends of Ralph, we're going across the pond. Kevin Dolan. Guys, Wednesday is always soccer day because you have the Europa League, you have the Champions League. So big soccer matchups. We got a lot of guys that are incredible at soccer. Kevin Dolan, Atletico Madrid and Salzburg over 2.75 goals. That does kick off 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Friends of Ralph play again from Kevin Dolan. Thank you, Kevin. Atletico Madrid and Salzburg over the total.
There you go. A lot of people in the chat room are saying, Ralph, this is the best segment of the show. We love having you, man. Guys, you can check out Ralph, Matt, and myself on the NFL presidential address. SoCal, you wanted me to ask Ralph about Minnesota and Tampa Bay? We'll ask him on the NFL presidential address. 4 p.m.
I do have Prez. I got to jump in for 1 second. I got to give myself a shameless. I have to give myself a shameless plug. I do have my second 5% college basketball game. It is my game of the month. 4-0 the last couple days in college hoops. Short term doesn't mean anything, but the plays are going exactly the way I thought they would. So do check that out. Second 5-star. The first was a winner. The second will cash as well.
Yeah, I bet that first one. I was minus 10 or something. I can't remember, but I bet it. Minus 13 or whatnot, and it won handily. Also, shout out to Carmine Bianco, one of the best guys around. He is a 5% play up as well. Anybody who can figure out the date of that board behind Teddy, the first one, $100 in wager bucks, but you got to tweet it out. You got to include hashtag WagerTalk Today. As for Teddy's life-changing, life-altering news, guys, we have to wait another day again. My apologies. It is happening, so just bear with us. Tomorrow's show, Dave Koken talking college football. Gianni as well. Teddy, I got to run to the dermatologist, which sucks at my age, so please take us home.
Yeah, you got to run to the dermatologist.
Yeah, I got
Yes, you do, Prez.
Right there.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with Prez and I. Thanks again, Arthur DiCesare. Thank you to Ralph Michaels. And why we have Ralph last? So you'll stick around for the whole show. It's a great segment to close out the show. And of course, thanks to Las Vegas Cris. Thanks to Jerry Garcia. Thanks to Prez's daughter. And thanks to you. Enjoy the games. Good luck tonight. We'll be back again in 23 hours right here on WagerTalk Today.
Las Vegas Cris has a padded resume with all of his accomplishments in Vegas. In fact, there are just too many for me to list in a 30-second commercial. Right now, you can lock in Las Vegas Cris for the next 30 days for only $189. That comes out to just $6.36 per day, and that includes all sports, any 5% best bets. Of course, this is a limited time offer, so do not miss your chance to bet alongside a professional Las Vegas sports bettor for only $189.